All right, so today we're diving into the world of oral health. We're looking at this product called Adem Naturals ProvaDent, and they're making some pretty big claims about what it can do for your smile.
Yeah, when you glance at their marketing materials here, they really don't hold back on the hype, groundbreaking, advanced, natural. They even say it was created by a dentist.
So it must be good, right?
Well, that's what we're here to figure out, right? I mean, we always have to look beyond the marketing and really dig into the science behind these kinds of products.
Exactly. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is ProvaDent?
So they're marketing it as an oral probiotic supplement,
Huh.
basically a blend of probiotics, xylitol, and natural extracts.
Okay, so pretty standard stuff when we're talking about oral health, but I see they also mention this BioFresh Clean complex. Sounds very fancy, but they don't actually say what's in this proprietary blend.
Yeah, and that's something that always makes me a little bit wary. I mean, how can we really assess a product if we don't know exactly what's in it?
Right. That makes you wonder what they might be hiding.
Exactly. Transparency is so important, especially when it comes to our health.
Okay, so a little bit of mystery there. Moving on, let's talk about how ProvaDent supposedly works. They list 5 key ingredients and highlight a whole laundry list of benefits, from fresher breath to healthier gums.
Right, like they're saying this is going to solve like all of your oral health problems.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So let's break down these claims and see what the science actually says. First up, we have organic xylitol. They say it does everything. Reduces harmful bacteria, promotes beneficial bacteria, prevents plaque, enhances saliva, freshens breath. So is xylitol really the superhero of oral health?
Well, xylitol does have some pretty solid research behind it, especially when it comes to preventing cavities.
Really?
Yeah, studies have shown that chewing xylitol gum after meals significantly reduces cavities. We're talking like a 50% reduction in some cases.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is. But, the effectiveness really depends on the dosage. And of course, ProvaDent doesn't disclose how much xylitol is actually in their formula.
Ah, so it might be doing something, but who knows how much. Okay, next up is our mysterious friend, the BioFresh Clean complex. Again, they're making all these claims about cleansing, revitalizing, removing debris, but without knowing what's in it, can we really take their word for it?
It's hard to say. I mean, they're using some very evocative language, but without any specifics, it's tough to separate the marketing from the actual science.
Right. Are they talking about a mechanical cleaning effect, or are there specific antimicrobial agents at play?
Exactly.
Okay, next on the list is cranberry extract. ProvaDent claims it prevents bacteria from sticking to surfaces, reduces plaque, supports gum health. So, does cranberry actually have a place in oral care, or is this a bit of a stretch?
Cranberry has gotten a lot of attention for its role in preventing urinary tract infections, and there's some early research that suggests it might have benefits for oral health too. But, those studies are still pretty preliminary, and most of them have focused on cranberry's effects on certain bacteria in a lab setting.
So more research is needed to see if it actually works in a product like this.
Right. Especially when it comes to something you're ingesting, like a supplement.
Okay, so the jury's still out on cranberry. Now this next one is a little different. Purple carrot powder. They claim it's packed with antioxidants and that its anti-inflammatory properties soothe the gums. Seems like a bit of a wild card.
Yeah, it does. I mean, purple carrots are definitely nutritious, right?
Okay.
And there's evidence that they can have anti-inflammatory effects in general.
Uh-huh.
But whether those benefits translate to specifically oral health is a bit unclear. It could be that they're just applying these general health claims to a specific product without the evidence to back it up.
Yeah, that makes sense. So potentially good for your overall health, but maybe not the magic bullet for gums that they're claiming it to be. Okay, finally we get to the probiotic strains. ProvaDent says they carefully selected these strains to balance the oral microbiome, fight bad bacteria, and reduce the risk of, gum disease and bad breath.
Yeah, this is where things get a little tricky.
How so?
Well, the world of probiotics is very complex. Different strains can have very different effects. Some might be great for gut health, while others might be better suited for oral health.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Exactly. And the key is knowing which specific strains are included and what the research actually says about them. And, without that information, it's really hard to evaluate these claims.
I see. So it's like saying a fruit is good for you without telling you whether it's an apple or a durian. Could be a big difference. Okay, so we've got this mix of ingredients in ProvaDent, some that have some research behind them and others that are a little more questionable. So how do we, like, move beyond the marketing and actually figure out if this product is worth trying?
Right. It's so easy to get caught up in all the promises of a brighter smile and better health, but you really have to be skeptical and do your own research.
So where do we start? We've got all this marketing material, but how do we become, like, savvy oral health detectives?
Okay, well, first, don't just rely on the information they give you. Go beyond the product's website and their marketing. I mean, they're trying to sell you something, so of course they're going to highlight all the positives.
Right. They're not going to tell us the bad stuff.
Exactly. Look for independent reviews, articles from, like, reputable sources, maybe dental journals or, some well-respected health websites.
So don't just take their word for it. Got it. What else?
Pay close attention to the language they're using. Marketing is all about triggering our emotions, right? But we need to focus on the facts. So be wary of those really big, sweeping claims or testimonials that sound, a little too good to be true. And before and after photos can be super misleading.
Yeah, a dazzling smile in a photo doesn't mean the product is actually, scientifically sound. Okay, so what's next?
Dive deeper into the individual ingredients themselves. I know we touched on some of the key players in ProvaDent, but it's worth doing your own research on each one.
Okay.
Look for studies that have been published in legitimate scientific journals, studies that specifically look at their effects on oral health, and be especially cautious if you see an ingredient that you've never heard of, or if it's listed as part of a proprietary blend.
So we're looking for real scientific evidence, not just catchy marketing terms.
Exactly.
Anything else we should watch out for?
Oh, dosage is really important. Even if an ingredient has benefits, the amount in the product might be way too low to actually do anything. And remember, sometimes more isn't necessarily better. Some ingredients can have side effects at higher doses.
So dosage matters. Got it. Any other expert tips for decoding these health claims?
Don't be afraid to ask your dentist. I mean, they're your trusted advisor when it comes to your oral health. They can give you personalized advice based on, your own specific needs.
That's true. I think we often get so caught up in, like, researching online that we forget to just ask our dentist.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. They might already be familiar with the product, or they can at least help you make sense of the research.
So it's a team effort.
Exactly. Plus, your dentist can look at, your overall oral health. They can see things that you might not even be aware of and recommend a plan that's, like, really tailored to you.
That's a great point. Okay, so we've got some strategies for evaluating products like ProvaDent. But I want to zoom out for a second and talk about, like, the bigger picture. Why is oral health so important? And I'm not just talking about having a pretty smile.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think we often overlook just how important oral health is to our overall well-being. It's not just about aesthetics.
Right. I've heard about that connection between oral health and overall health. Tell me more about that.
Well, there's more and more evidence coming out that shows a strong link between our oral health and a bunch of other health conditions. Heart disease, diabetes, even Alzheimer's disease.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The bacteria in our mouths, they can actually travel throughout our bodies. And this can lead to inflammation and all sorts of other problems.
Wow, I had no idea it was that connected. So taking care of our teeth and gums, it's not just about vanity, it's about protecting our health in general.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to, really be smart about the oral health products that we choose.
Right. There are so many products out there all making these big promises.
And it's easy to fall for the hype, especially when it comes to something as, personal as our smile.
Yeah. We all want a healthy, beautiful smile.
Exactly. But if you arm yourself with information and, a healthy dose of skepticism, you can make choices that are good for both your oral health and your overall health.
So what's the key takeaway for our listeners today, especially if they're thinking about trying ProvaDent or any other oral health product?
Well, I think the key takeaway, especially when we think about the connection to overall health, is that oral health is a marathon, not a sprint. There's no magic bullet, right? No one product that's going to solve all your problems. It's about having a holistic approach, good daily hygiene, regular checkups with your dentist, and making smart choices about the products you use.
So it's about building those healthy habits and figuring out what works best for you, not just, following the latest trends.
Yeah. Exactly. And remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand about oral health, the better equipped you'll be to sort through all the information out there and make good choices for yourself.
That's great advice. This deep dive has been really eye-opening. We've learned a lot about like navigating the world of oral probiotics and the connection between oral health and overall well-being. But before we wrap up completely, there's one more thing I'm curious about. We've talked a lot about probiotics today, and I know that's a big area of research in oral health right now. But what are some other emerging trends or areas of research that you're like really excited about?
Oh, that's a great question. There's so much cool stuff happening in the world of oral health research right now. But one area that I find particularly fascinating is um, the research on the oral microbiome and how it impacts our overall health.
The oral microbiome.
Yeah, it's basically this incredible ecosystem of trillions of bacteria, fungi, and viruses that live in our mouths. It's super diverse, and we're just starting to understand how all these microbes interact and how they affect everything from our immune system to our risk of developing chronic diseases.
So it's like a whole miniature world living inside our mouths. That's wild. But how does this relate to like oral health specifically?
Well, the research is showing that if your oral microbiome is out of balance, if you have too many of the bad bacteria and not enough of the good ones, it can lead to problems like gum disease, bad breath, and even tooth decay.
So it's all about maintaining that balance, right?
Exactly. And that's where the research on probiotics comes in. Scientists are looking at how specific probiotic strains can help to restore that balance and improve our oral health.
So it's not just about killing out bacteria. It's about making sure we have the right mix of good and bad bacteria.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like having a garden. You need the right balance of organisms to keep it healthy and thriving. And this research has the potential to totally change how we approach oral health.
It sounds like it. So instead of just focusing on brushing and flossing, we might be able to actually target the microbiome itself?
Exactly. It's a really promising area of research.
That's so cool. Are there any other promising areas of research in oral health that you're keeping an eye on? So personalized oral care. It's like the future of dentistry is just around the corner. What else is out there in the world of oral health research?
Another area that's generating a lot of buzz is personalized oral care. We're learning so much more about the oral microbiome now, and it's becoming really clear that everyone's mouth is unique.
Yeah.
What works for one person might not work for someone else. Like what's considered healthy can be totally different from person to person.
So, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to oral health. We have to tailor our care to, our own needs and that unique microbial makeup we talked about.
Exactly. And scientists are actually working on developing tools that can analyze individual oral microbiomes.
Yeah.
Imagine getting personalized recommendations for everything, like your toothpaste, your mouthwash, even your diet,
That's incredible.
all based on the bacteria in your mouth.
It's like a custom-made plan for your oral health. This is all so fascinating. I can't wait to see what the future holds for, dentistry.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. We're really on the cusp of some major breakthroughs that could, completely change how we think about and care for our oral health.
This deep dive has been a really fascinating journey. We've unpacked the marketing claims of this product, ProvaDent, explored some cutting-edge research, and really emphasized the connection between oral health and our overall well-being. But before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts for our listeners, as they kind of navigate their own oral health journey?
It's fascinating to see how much we're learning about the link between our mouths and our overall health. It's really crucial, and I think it deserves more attention. So as you continue to learn and explore, remember that taking care of your oral health, it's really an investment in your overall well-being.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us today. You've been a fantastic guest. We've learned a lot about, navigating the world of oral probiotics and making informed decisions about our health. And listeners, remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand about your oral health, the better equipped you'll be to advocate for yourself and make choices that will, help you have a healthy smile for life.
And don't forget about the importance of being proactive. We tend to think about our oral health when we have a problem, like a toothache or bleeding gums or even just bad breath. But true well-being, it comes from prevention, right?
Right. So it's not just about putting out fires. It's about, creating an environment where those fires are less likely to start in the first place.
Exactly. And there are a few key elements to this. First, a consistent daily routine. Brushing, flossing. It sounds basic, but you'd be surprised how many people don't do this.
It's like forgetting to water your plants. Even the healthiest garden needs consistent care, right?
Exactly. And then there's diet. What you eat can really impact your oral health. Sugary drinks and processed foods, They can actually fuel the growth of that bad bacteria we talked about. And on the other hand, a diet that's rich in, fruits, vegetables, and fiber, well, that can promote a healthy oral microbiome.
So it's not just about what we put on our teeth, but what we put in our bodies.
Absolutely. And of course, don't skip your regular dental checkups. Your dentist can catch problems early on.
Right, before they become big issues.
Exactly. They can give you personalized advice and help you stay on top of your oral health.
It's like having a personal trainer for your teeth.
That's a great way to put it. Proactive care is about taking ownership of your oral health. Making it a priority, building those healthy habits, making informed choices, working with your dentist to have a healthy smile for life.
Well said. This has been such a great conversation. We've covered so much, from the marketing claims of ProvaDent to some really cutting-edge research, and we've highlighted how important oral health is to our overall health. Thanks for joining us today, and until next time, keep those smiles shining bright.